with that, I don't know if Ana Lucia is in. If not, we can go to somebody else. I don't see her on the people who are on the list. So maybe let's go to Kelly. Kelly Gilmore, our associate director for responsible for proposals. Kelly, thank you, and thanks to your wonderful team of proposal analysts who are doing double duty right now. Could you give us an update on the proposals, please?
Sure, absolutely. I agree that my team is absolutely wonderful. We are open for business as usual and trying to get everything out as quickly as possible. There's a couple of things I want to bring to everybody's attention this week. The first, I want to talk to you guys about NIH escalations, and this is a little bit tricky because there's no official policy coming out of NIH, but it's becoming more and more common for them to cut escalations from the budget at the JIT phase or time of award. And when they're doing that, they're not allowing rebudgets. So that includes both salary and fringe benefits and any other costs that appear to have increases associated with them, which can significantly decrease the award amount. So what we are strongly recommending that everybody do when it comes to NIH is remove increases from proposal budgets to avoid those automatic cuts occurring. If you're uncomfortable with that or concerned about paying the actual increases, you can place those increases in another cost category that will benefit the project. But we're seeing it used to be fairly uncommon. Now about 80% of the time they're coming back and cutting those costs. So we want everybody to be aware of that. Again, there's no official policy, so it makes it a little bit difficult. The calls don't say that. It's just something we're starting to see. And we want to make sure that you're getting the amount that you need for your project. So if anyone has any questions, let us know and we'll work with you. But again, because they're not actually saying it, there's not a lot we can fall back on other than what we're seeing as practice these days. The other thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is that the NSF, National Science Foundation, approved biographical sketches and current and pending support documents are finally available. They don't have to be used officially until June 1st, but they're recommending that everybody begin using them now and get used to using them. There's two ways that you can do that. You can use them in Science CV, which most PIs, I believe, already have access to, or they are now also available on NSF's website as fillable PDF documents. And I believe we're going to have some handouts and guidance available on our website in the coming weeks. I know there's a couple of different OR units that are collaborating to get those together for everybody. But again, they're available through Science CV right now or on NSF's website, and you will have to begin using one of those formats effective June 1st. Let's see, I see a question. Budget escalations for salary and benefits, yes. Salary and fringe benefits, yes. For NIH, yes.
So for to follow up on what Kelly said regarding NIH, please also note that, as she said, this is not a policy. So it's hit and miss. Some parts of NIH seems like they are enforcing it, some might not. But the bottom line is that if you have escalation at the time of the award, they may or may not allow you to go forward. If they don't allow you to rebudget. So it's just, that's how it is. We have several researchers who have gotten to that point. Their budget is cut, and they are wondering what's going on and why we didn't inform them earlier. There was nothing to inform them. It's just, this is what's going on right now. So if you want to be on the safe side, do not use escalation. If you do, just you might get it, you might not get it. There's nothing we would be able to do either way. So your call. Is that fair, Kelly?
Yeah, and I think I answered it.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else, Kelly?
Nope, that's it for proposals. Unless somebody has questions.
What volume of proposal are you guys seeing right now? I know that I see a lot.
They're coming in. We're hovering around 50 on any given day, but that increases or decreases depending on deadlines. So we're keeping pretty busy. And of course, we're getting the COVID-19 proposals in, which we're prioritizing. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on that issue of COVID-19 proposals, members of School of Medicine who might be online might have heard already that there is a committee put together by the School of Medicine, and basically they want to triage, from what I understand, the proposals that are going to potentially compete for same subjects, resources, and so on and so forth. So School of Medicine is helping in that area to, from what we understand, make sure that proposals that have enough resources for available in School of Medicine to go forward. Again, I don't think they started their work. They are working on getting there. Any day they might start doing that. And the way we are going to work with that system is that that you have to get the approval of School of Medicine Dean's office for a proposal to come out. So we are working with the committee to put the control at that point. So if a proposal is not going to go forward, the Med Dean's office hopefully would not authorize it in chaos. From our point of view, if it is authorized in chaos, we would assume that everything is fine and we would go forward. So be informed of that. This might come down soon. I know that Dr. Ted Wan in Dean's office is working with several people. A committee has been appointed already. I saw the charge letter which was issued yesterday, and we are all working together to make sure that we are going forward properly on the proposals for COVID-19 from specifically School of Medicine. It might affect other schools at one point too, as long as there is issues of overlapping basically subjects. So I want to make sure that you know that. So Kelly, if you don't have anything else, maybe we can have Grace talk about. Yes.
Ahmad, there's a couple questions there that I'm not sure were answered. The first one, I think you kind of talked about this a little bit, but is there any NIH new policy regarding to PI and key personal efforts regarding required on the budget?
Regarding the key personnel efforts?
Required on the budget, right. Is there any new NIH policy regarding their effort required on the budget?
I don't think there is anything new. It's just, it has always been that reasonable amount of time has to be on the budget from the point of view of reviewing in any of these sponsors. Kelly, are you aware of anything new? I am not aware of anything new at this point.
No, I'm not aware of anything either.
It's just sometimes, it's unfortunate. Some of our researchers assume that if the budget is bare bone, they would have a better chance of getting the proposal awarded. And because of that, they might not put salaries, benefits, or whatever, and some other costs on the budget. But I know how these things are reviewed from the point of view of any sponsor. If you are not asking for enough number of dollars to do work, they are not going to believe you that you are able to do the work. So the proposal might not even get reviewed because of the fact that they don't think that for the volume of work you are asking for, there is no way you would be able to do it with the amount of money you are asking for. So that's really a general rule that any of the sponsors follow. So getting back to the specific question, it is, not only because of recovery of proper full cost, but think about the budget issues on campus right now. If a PI is spending, let's say, 5% time on a project, they really should charge their 5% time to the project. It's just, that's common sense, unfortunately. It's not followed always. That's how these systems are put in place. And that campus right now is struggling with some budget cuts, and that's one of the ways to prevent these things. Any other questions, Cassie?
Yeah, so there's one comment that's related to that. One person said that NCI has a new policy about required effort, minimum effort, and they shared that link for everyone. And then Ruby has a question indicating that NIH doesn't require the revised budget when they cut the budget at awarding time in her experience. However, SPO's asked for a revised budget. If they provide that revised budget to SPO, it won't be the NIH approved one, so they're seeking advice on that.
Well, let's see, if you are asking for, let's say, 100,000 out of that, let's say 3,000 was for escalation of salaries, and they are cutting that 3,000, it comes down to 97. Somehow our internal budget for accounting should reflect that. So that's the reason that sponsored programs asked for you to basically cut down the budget to 97,000 in the example I told you. It's true, NIH wouldn't need it because they have cut it for you anyway. Somehow in our system, we have to have those numbers. That should be the reason for asking for rebudget, to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Kelly, do you have anything on that? You get it just in time.
I have nothing more than what you've said, Ahmad. I mean, I think it's important for us to have the most accurate information possible for accounting. But again, you're right, the federal government doesn't care about our internal budgets. It's for internal purposes.
And we have to have it to be able to document the award. And we have to rely on the department and the PI to give us that updated budget.
Yeah.
Anything else, Cassie?
No, that looks like the rest of it. And Grace, okay, you should be unmuted now.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Grace. Grace is, everybody knows her too. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Kelly. Grace is Associate Director responsible for the awards team. I said that we have a wonderful proposal team. We have an equally wonderful award team too. We have lots of vacancies there. We have been trying to fill some of them right now. We have to go through the new system that, for good reason, campus has put in place to make sure that, again, issues of the budget are properly taken care of. But the fact remains that we do have vacancies, both in award team and also in negotiation team. So, I hate to keep saying this, but things are going to slow down in all of those areas. But despite all of that, I know that, again, the wonderful award team is doing a great job, as well as the negotiation team, keeping everything going forward. So, Grace, do you have updates that you want to share, please?
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Yes, the awards team is hard at work, and our volume of work has gone up because we get the normal awards, and we also have a lot of amendments coming in right now. We're getting a lot of no-cost extension requests, and also sponsors are initiating no-cost extensions. I know CDFA just asked a lot of PIs whether they wanted a one-year if they wanted a no-cost extension. Office of Naval Research, ONR, also asked some PIs if they wanted a no-cost extension. So if you know that your PI has gotten a question from a sponsor whether they want a no-cost extension, please let sponsor programs know. Okay, usually in that email, the sponsor will ask the PI or to either tell them directly, to tell the sponsor directly, or to have their sponsored programs office make the request on their behalf. But anyway, it's not just initiated by the PI or sponsored programs now. Sometimes the sponsor is being proactive in asking who wants a no-cost extension at this time. All right, I just want to bring everybody's attention to an update that we put in on our OR site. I'm going to share screen now, and I hope this works. Hang on, let's see. Okay. Hang on, let's share screen. Okay, did that work?
Yes.
Okay, is everybody looking at the Office of Research Continuity and Planning for COVID-19 page? All right, so
Yes.
one of the questions we get a lot of is about where to charge salaries during this time. And we just put up a resource early this week, and I would encourage you to look at it and direct your PI to it. So the first thing I want to tell you about is that the Office of the President has compiled a sponsor guidance information page, and everybody should take a look at that. That page, and I'm opening it up now, this page is updated daily. So daily updates right here, you can see that. That has daily updates. They have a lot of updates on federal agency resources and some on California agencies. We haven't seen a lot of guidance from California agencies, but there have been a lot of notifications from the federal agencies. So you can kind of see what they've put it together via by agency, so you can look at your sponsors and look up the most recent information there. Okay, so that's the UCOP website. All right, so on the UC Davis OR website, we've kind of summarized everything for you, but you should still go back and check those websites because information is changing by the day, if not by the hour sometimes. So UCOP has posted guidance on charging grants and costs to federal sponsored awards during this time. Okay, and this links to a memo that they put out. All right, so you can look at this memo, but this was put out March 24th by UCOP. And the important information is, at this time, campuses should continue to charge salaries, stipends, and benefits to currently active awards consistent with a UC policy of paying salaries from all funding sources, federal and non-federal. Okay, likewise, costs related to cancellation of events, travel, or other authorized activity due to COVID-19 crisis may charge these costs to their award if they would have otherwise been allowable. But please make sure that you keep your appropriate records and cost documentation because we might have to justify them later on, okay? And then for the federal guidance, this was laid out by the federal government in 2 memoranda by OMB and M2017. You should take a look at that. This links directly to it. In section 6 and 7, they directly mention charging salary and non-salary, non-refundable costs. And then here in this table, we are discussing NIH, NSF, USDA, and DOD. And so as you can see, each of these agencies has adopted OMB M2017 guidance and allows salary and non-refundable costs to be charged. Okay, so for non-federal awards though, California state agencies haven't come out with a comprehensive guidance on this, so you will have to contact your program officer for clarity. And one thing I do want to bring to everybody's attention is PCORI, okay, specifically has released guidance stating that they will only allow recipients to charge salaries and benefits to currently active awards for work performed to meet the objectives, needs of the project, regardless of the location where those duties were performed. So basically, if a researcher is working and furthering the goals and aims of a project, they can charge their time. If they're at work not working, then they cannot charge their time. Okay, that's for PCORI awards. And to my knowledge, they're the first sponsor which has specifically said they will not pay for salary for non-working researchers. All right, and now the question is, well then where can I put the salary of a non-working researcher if I cannot charge it to an award? Well, then you should charge it to an allowable non-CNG source. Okay, that's the best we can tell you on that.
Let me add a little bit on that issue. Actually, as Grace, as you said, PCORI, to the best of our knowledge at this point, is the only sponsor who has issued what they have issued, that they said that if you don't work on the project, we shouldn't charge their project. That conflicts with universities' decision at this point coming from Office of the President, and specifically I am talking about the guidance or the directive from the President of university. I think it's dated March 16th, which talks about the famous 128 hours. Basically, if you meet certain requirements, and which includes that the person is not able to work off-site, so on and so forth. There are several criteria. If all of those are met, and I think that, I forgot if they said that if the salaries and, if the vacation and sick leave is exhausted, I think they say that there is no need to get to that point. But anyway, the bottom line, the university talks about 128 hours, which is 16 days, can be charged even if the person is not working, when it's not their fault that they can't work. The question, we have received several questions. So where should we charge it? The position of university at this point is that consistently, if we all charge to the project that they were supposed to be working on, even if a sponsor is arguing against that at this point, down the road, the university is going to keep working with those sponsors. So what I'm saying is a little bit different from saying that charge it to something else. At this point, university's position, and then, I have some information in front of me on my computer here, that discussions with the individuals like Mike LeGrand, who is responsible for all of the issues of accounting. And I'm going to read a little bit from you here. It says, we believe that the administrative leave should be charged equitably to grants and contracts, just as other leave is charged to those same accounts. And no, it says that if a sponsor would argue against this, we would work with them down the road. But the belief of the university is that allowable costs consistently applied in this manner meet the uniform guidance. So that's where we are now. Again, these areas, they are coming up and nobody has experienced this before. That's why sometimes you might hear contradictory advice. So what Grace said was not necessarily wrong when she said that if the sponsor is not allowing to charge, we should charge it somewhere else. Having said that, now we have also what I just read you, that universities, at least Davis's position, following the directive from the president, and also the same day, I believe the Associate Vice Chancellor responsible for finance, Kelly Ratliff, issued a memo talking about these things. They cannot be that exact and tell us exactly what would happen, because they are dealing with all these issues too, and they are trying to do the best they can do. But the bottom line is that to be on the safe side, if you have a person or individuals who meet all of the requirements of those guidance, and again, I believe the date is March 16, both from the Office of the President and also from the campus. If you can't find it, we'll figure out a way to put it on. It might be on our website. I'll make sure that Cassie has it properly in the right place. So the bottom line is that we have to keep charging the project that the individuals have been on and they have been budgeted for.
Okay, all right. I think we might have to change that last sentence on that section that I read then.
Okay.
I'll work with them.
Again, let's double check one more time. This directive, this information that I just read you is from yesterday. These are all, things are evolving. That's how it is. And as Grace said, some of this information on the website, 5 minutes after that they are put in there, they might be obsolete. But that's how it is, unfortunately, these days. Things keep changing, and we have to work together. But this position of university that I just told you is consistent with uniform guidance, and that's where we are right now.
Okay, and there's a question, has DOE brought any guidelines similar to these? By DOE, do you mean Department of Energy or Department of Education?
It's probably energy.
Okay. I'll have to check. Let me check the UCOP links. Okay, so we'll just have to see if Department of Energy has adopted OMB-M 2017 specifically for that. It wasn't meant to be a comprehensive list. I listed 4 of the top sponsors, but of course that's not every federal agency. So my advice would be to check what UCOP has linked, and if not, Google what Department of Energy has stated regarding OMB-M 2017, if they have adopted that guidance. Okay, are there any other questions for awards right now? As always, if you have a question regarding carry forward, rebudgeting, no cost extensions, please let the awards team know. We definitely do want to ask for prior approval for those things, and sponsors are being quite flexible, so we're grateful for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Grace.
And Ahmad, I just unmuted Cindy. She raised her hand.
Okay, hello, Cindy.
Hello, am I off mute?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep going.
Great. So, yeah, I wanted to echo what Ahmed said. This is a fluid environment, and we have been receiving a lot of questions about applying salaries during that 128-hour leave that the university has provided. And so Ahmed is correct. The stance that we're taking right now is that these are allowable costs to be direct charged to the projects, as just as leave is. So I'm echoing that. I just wanted to raise that when you do apply salaries during these leave periods to grants where the sponsor has explicitly said they don't want to pay that, there is a risk that there could be a disallowance later. But kind of what we're doing right now is kicking the can down the road to have those discussions later on. But I wanted people to understand that, yes, the direction right now is to go ahead and apply those salaries to those grants with the understanding that there's a potential risk it may not be reimbursed later. But, at least the salaries got charged to the place initially that they were supposed to go. And then we would identify them as a COVID-19 extra expense, if you will, that we're campus-wide trying to calculate what these additional expenses are anyway. So that's kind of the approach we're taking. I wanted to mention this, and I don't want to put too many worms into the can right now, but there are also ongoing discussions at the federal level relative to summer salaries. So those of you who have faculty on 9/12 or 10/12 kind of agreements, and normally they would do their research in the summer and charge those summer salaries. If our shelter orders extend into the summer, we have ongoing conversations about whether individuals who have these, who are unable to work on their project during the summer, whether they'll be able to charge their summer salaries to something they're not working on. And this is a very different situation than that 128-hour leave that I just mentioned, because if the work's going to be happening later, maybe they should be charging the salary at the time frame when they're doing it and not during the summer. So those are some of the conversations going on at the federal level right now.
Cindy and Ahmad, do you see the question from Christine here?
Sorry, I don't see the chat. I'm on my phone instead of my laptop. I had 2 meetings going at the same time, so I don't see the chat.
So let me read it to you. What do I tell my PIs that are worried about having enough funds to meet the grant deliverables? They are worried that there won't be enough supplemental funds down the road to cover the extra salary cost.
Correct. That's a valid concern, and that's been actually widely discussed. We're very aware of that. And we've, when I say widely discussed, also with our federal sponsors. So the policy leads at our key sponsors, we've already had these conversations. Mike Lauer's response was from NIH was specifically that right now, you know, there's no guarantee of an admin supplement to cover this, but in the grant world, so I'm setting aside contracts, but in the grant world, you get paid based on your expenses, right? So the trigger, it's cost reimbursable, and the trigger is if you expended effort or time and that kind of thing on a project, we can still charge that, right? If you didn't come up with all of the, if you didn't finalize all the specific aims, all the work that you initially had proposed, that's okay. The agencies understand the situation and what's going on. So if you know for certain what those impacts are going to be for you, you should alert your program officer that your project's been impacted and you likely won't be able to finish all of the work. So that's a conversation or an email with your program officer. You know, already uniform guidance and NIH rules require us to report to your program officer when there's going to be negative impacts on your project. So you need to do that anyway. And if NIH feels like this is so important that you finish these aims, then they might consider a supplement. If they feel like, you know what, that was good enough, then you file your final report with the work that was done to the date that the project ended or you ran out of money. That's the nature of cost reimbursable. So you don't have to complete everything by the end date of the grant. And agencies are understanding that, but they do want these impact statements to come in once you know what the actual impacts to your project are going to be from a shelter in place or inability to work on it. I hope that helps, but that's generally what we're hearing.
Thank you, Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Cindy or me regarding these issues, Cassie? I don't see anything else.
I don't see anything else, but Christine, who asked the question, said that was very helpful, Cindy. Thank you.
Okay, great. If you have
Thank
a contract,
I
just want to say, if you have a contract, it's a little bit of a different conversation because contracts, usually you get payment based on deliverables. So we'll need to have a different conversation if in fact you have one of those contracts. They're a little bit different.
And luckily, I mean, proportionally, we have much more grants than contracts anyway. Yeah, but that's a good point. Anything else, Cindy? Any other update before we go to the next person? Maybe Cindy is muted now. Okay, I see that Anna Lucia is...
Cassie was very good at muting me.
Okay.
No, I'll just let me know if you have other questions. I'm here,
okay.
And yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, Anna Lucia, you want to talk about COVID-19 coordination activities and what's happening on campus regarding, I suppose, the funds available for some of these additional work?
Correct. Thank you for inviting me, Cassie. And I'm sorry I was late. This didn't end up in my calendar, and whatever is not in my calendar doesn't get done these days. So we've been tasked with helping coordinate communication between faculty and help them kind of build teams and support them as they try to look for funding. We have set up several tools for them to communicate. So we have a large COVID-19 email listserv. It's covid19@ucdavis.edu. We are sending out a lot of information regarding updates on funding, any requests from other teams on campus that are looking for resources, any kind of information that might be relevant. So if any of you want to join that list, I think it would be helpful. We tend to get, at the beginning, we're not getting them so often now, but we tend to get questions about how do I make sure my proposal is getting through SPO quickly? Who do I talk to at SPO? Who do I talk to at IRB? So we put together a little bit of information for them in terms of who to contact at all of these places. The other thing we did is we put together a Slack channel. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Slack, but it's kind of like a real-time chat workspace. So people are posting, again, updates in terms of research funding opportunities. They're posting news. They're posting any kinds of resources that they find maybe at other universities or in agency pages. I think it would be very helpful if some of you join in case there are questions that are relevant to this particular group. Meg and I tend to try to funnel questions to the different groups, but it's kind of like an extra step for faculty to go through us in order to get information. So if some of you join the Slack channel or the email list, you can get direct access to all of those questions, and we would appreciate the help. If you want to get kind of like a roundup of what is going on in terms of research, we have put together a research webpage. It's called covid19research.ucdavis.edu, and we are constantly working on updating information on that page. One thing we want to do is we want to link up resources from SPO into that page so that faculty can easily find them. What else can I tell you? We ran our first seed funding call last week. We are giving faculty $25,000 awards and $5,000 awards, depending on what the need they have at this moment. We got 51 applications the first week. We are doing a rapid review where faculty submit on Wednesday and we make decisions on funding on Monday. We do the reviews over the weekend. So we received 51 and we funded 10. This week, we're expecting to get fewer applications, hopefully, but still probably around 20 to 30. And then depending on availability of funds, we will do a third round the following week. For the people who are not getting funded, we are asking them to look at external funding opportunities, maybe at the UCUP fund. Citrus has some funding. So if any of you have any knowledge about internal or extramural funding that you think we should capture and send to faculty, let us know. We're trying to provide them with as many resources as possible.
Thank you, Ana Lucia. Any questions for Ana Lucia?
I see a question from Christine. There is a list of funded projects so far, and I can share that with you, and I believe there will be also a press release. So if you want to, please send me an email to remind me to send you that information. I'm happy to share it with you.
And thank you, Cassie, for putting the link on the chat here for everybody to see.
All right.
Okay.
Please feel free to email me if you have questions. I'm going to jump off because I have another meeting that I need to join right now.
Okay, take care. Thank you very much. James, it's your turn. Oh, Cindy wants to say something. Is she on mute? Maybe not.
I unmuted James and Cindy.
No, I didn't have anything. I had my hand up earlier, so maybe that's what you're seeing.
Okay.
But I'm fine.
Okay. Thank you. So, James?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm going to share some information related to one of our favorite topics, which is cost transfers. As things are changing here recently, I don't know if we might see more need for cost transfers. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can keep those to a minimum. That makes things a lot better. But we posted some information on our website yesterday that I'd like to share and walk through real quick and discuss. Can we all see the webpage? It says high risk late transfers. Okay, I can't find on my screen. Okay, all right. So what we did was we refreshed some information that we had on our webpage about cost transfers. late transfers. With UCPath, they introduced this concept, and they're calling it high-risk transfers. It means kind of the same thing. High-risk transfers in UCPath for salary transfers relates to what we always were concerned about, the transfers more than 120 days after they had posted. UCPath also is identifying transfers more than 90 days after an award end date as a high-risk transfer. So what's different with UCPath versus in the past is now departments, you are initiating all of the transfers. So you have the ability to initiate these high-risk transfers. But what we want to do is make sure that we in Contracts and Grants Accounting have already reviewed and made a determination about whether or not that's going to be allowable coming into the federal flow-through project. Trying to get my chat box open here. So again, so two things that you'll need to get our pre-approval for are late transfers, meaning more than 120 days, or more than 90 days after an award end date. We have posted a new form. We simplified that old form that was kind of a PPS legacy form. And let me see if I can share with you. It's on our website here. Oh, the path. Let me just back up. Well, I can send
the link for you.
Okay, thank you, Cassie. The form is really just a simplified version of the old form, but it's a PDF form, so it's a fillable form. You can type in the information. There are some edits in here so that you can quickly make sure that your from and to lines are coming out the same. So as you enter, move $10 from this account to this account, you should have a check coming up to zero. Seems like that might help a little bit. Fillable form, also you'll be able to have electronic signatures applied to that. So as we're doing everything remotely, this is a lot better than trying to get a bunch of scanning and other things happening. So once you have completed that form, we would like you to email it to efa@ucdavis.edu. This is our central kind of intake email box. We will review that and get back to you with whether we have more questions or it's good to go or we're not able to approve that transfer request. Once you've got that, then you should go into UCPath, initiate the direct retro, and attach our approval so that when it comes in, we can see that we've already reviewed it, and we're trying to divide up our work as best we can. So somebody that maybe it just needs to look and see that approval's in place can click the approve button in UCPath. If we don't see that approval's there, we'll just go ahead and reject it and send it back to you so that you can get the approvals in place and attach them. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about this little refresh?
You have a question.
Yeah, I'm reading. So the question is, UCPath is still timing out. When will that be fixed? I don't know. It's on the list of things that they're trying to get resolved. And the second part is, do we need to use the new form for these adjustments? Yes, I think so. I think we need to look at it. We aren't going to block any transfers related to these glitches that we're seeing with the implementation of UCPath, but it is helpful for us to see what you are transferring. It's helpful for us to see what you're transferring. And the other thing is that it's not always easy for us to identify on the direct retros as it comes through the system, which lines are actually triggering it to route to us. So having that attachment will also, I think, help us figure out what it is that we're trying to push through. Michael, on the new form, can we include just the lines affected or all the lines on the, I think our concept, well, Lenora's answered, just the lines. I was going to, which lines, Lenora? I think the lines that are triggering the movement to the federal flow-through project. So where is it coming from? There you go, the one specific to the federal and FFT. CC is form only required. Yes, it is only required for ones that are falling into that high risk category. So 120 days or 90 days after the award end date.
James, you are popular.
Yeah, this is a very long.
Lots of questions.
So this question, we're noticing that the summer salary additional compensation that was paid out this fiscal year hit extremely late due to conversion. So not only we need to request late transfer assistance from C&G, but we'll need assistance going back to the sponsors to attempt to capture these late expenses. I haven't seen this come up yet, but Lenora, have you guys been affected by this yet? Lenora's trying to backstop me here this morning. No, we haven't seen it yet. Okay, so again, a lot of questions. So we just put this together, and tried to get this out, yesterday so that we would have something to share. Of course, with any new process or things that we put in place, we are happy to adjust to make it as efficient as we can for everybody on campus, as well as for the folks in CGA, so that we can hopefully get things flowing fairly expeditiously through the system. More messages.
I'm gonna unmute Lenora real quick.
Okay.
She wants to, let me just find her here. Okay, Lenora, you should be unmuted.
Good morning. So for Katrina's question, the late billing, if we've already submitted a final, trying to go back to the sponsor and collect might pose a problem, but you should be reaching out to Tammy and I or your fund manager and we can look into that. Let's see. Are there any other ones, James?
I think maybe, Michael, maybe we can just have a conversation and not get, with the MCOP worksheet, I don't know, maybe there's a way we can leverage that into the process. We don't want to duplicate effort, but we do want to make it clear what's happening.
But if you're coming across issues or there's questions, reach out to us and we can help try to figure out the plan or how to fix it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was one of the cost transfer topics that I wanted to bring up. The other has to do with, we've had some questions and, regarding when we have pre-award costs that we need to move on to an award. UC Path does not allow you to move salary before the begin date of that award. So if we need to move pre-award costs on, what we have to do is, well, what you have to do is initiate an account document to change the account begin date to an early enough date to allow you to capture, the 1 or 2, 3 months maybe of pre-award costs that would be allowable. These need to be allowable per the terms of the agreement. Put that through. We will approve that account with your explanation that you're backing the date up in order to accommodate pre-award transfers to come onto the project. Then you have to let that go overnight so that UC Path can pick up that change. Once it's available in UC Path, then you can make the transfer. Once the transfer goes through, then you need to go back and put the account back to the correct start date. Does that, did I capture it, Lenora? You're still unmuted. Any questions on that part? Okay. Well, that's the other, we also have a few vacancies in CGA. We're doing our best to stay on top of everything. As always, let us know if there's something really that we need to help out by expediting. We're definitely expediting any COVID-19 projects that are coming through. We've got a handful of them come through, and we're trying to get those set up pretty much within a day. And that is a...
Okay. Thank you very much, James.
Right.
Any questions regarding any of these issues we talked or anything else that we might be able to discuss and answer? I don't see any new questions coming up. There are lots of questions for accounting. It seems like they are going to contact you, James, and your team, as a follow-up.
Yeah, that's fine. Please, if you have questions, email us, and we can work through it with you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Actually, I'm sorry. So I think we forgot one. Apparently, we also need to update the award doc. I wasn't aware that we needed to update the award doc in KFS to make this go through. So there may be just one more step that we have to put into that process. So as you have these, if you need to do that pre-award thing, communicate with your fund manager. We'll get you the steps that you need to step through, and then you'll be able to get the salaries in the right place. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Well, anybody else has anything else to discuss?
Ahmad, I have just one thing. Several people have asked if we're going to record this or share notes. So I just want to let everyone know that we always record the forums, and they are available on our YouTube page. You can find this from our website, on the training page specifically, but pretty much anywhere else. And it will be uploaded either today or tomorrow. It takes me a little bit longer from home to do it with my internet connection.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as Cassie said, these are recorded. We don't transcribe them, but you would see the recording online. Thank you, Cassie, for doing that. I think that there is an archive of them too on the YouTube. You can see going back in time.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. A lot of them.
Yeah, when you can't sleep, maybe you can watch some of them. Thank you. Let's see, I don't see anything else here. Well, if there's nothing else, it's 9:30. Thank you for those of you who recommended that while we are working remotely to meet more often. That's why we are meeting today, obviously. Our next meeting, regular meeting, is on the fourth Wednesday, which is April 22nd. So between now and then, if you have questions regarding anything coming up, please contact one of us, and we go from there. But definitely, we are scheduled for April 22nd for the next forum. Cassie, is there anything else before we stop?
No, I don't see anything else.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Take care and stay safe, and hopefully everything would be back to normal soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.